Hi, beautiful people. How are you doing today? I'm super happy to be here with you. It's middle of the week, and so because there will probably be some wonderful, lovely city workers doing good things, we're inside today. But I have to admit to you, I have so much resistance in me every time we have to do it inside because I just want to be outside. But I just also want the whole rest of the world to hush just for us here. I want them all to cater to our desire to meditate together. So I have a buffer on my finger today because what I showed you the other day, that big old gash, I keep knocking out on things in it. I just feel like a little weenie because I'm just like, every time I do it. So I have a little buffer. So bear with me and my buffer today. So I'm really excited about our meditation today. And a couple of things, if you haven't already, really starting to work on more content. So uploading this free content every single day. And I don't know for how long I'll do this, but for however long we do it, I will continue to upload the content onto YouTube, onto my YouTube channel, which is Coach Bree. And so we're working on growing, obviously, our subscription base. So if you haven't done it yet, you can like any of the videos, the meditations, the content on there. That would be super amazing. And then also subscribe. And once I reach a certain number of subscribers, it gives me a little more free will to do different things. And of course, the more we grow that, the more capability we have on there. And my goal is to reach a point where I'm able to load free content on there for people and potentially even be able to make some money from doing that, which would be really, really neat to get paid for sharing your gifts. I think that's kind of the idea here in this life. So if you haven't done that, please do. And also just another reminder, if this is helping you and it's creating some positive shift in your world, invite other people to it, share it on your pages. All of those things all help, and I really appreciate it. And in case you didn't know, I'm so happy I could poop rainbows. And if you didn't know, I really do poop rainbows. So I'm kind of a unicorn that way. But so I'm excited for today and for our meditation. This is something that is known in the psychological community about how we land at outcomes that we don't like. And for most of us, in this process of discovering that something's happening in our world that we don't like, it's usually we get an outcome we don't like. And all of a sudden, we're frustrated and we're irritated because what we are aware of is what doesn't feel good because of an outcome. But y'all, the outcome is really deep into a process that has already taken place, that has brought you to that outcome. And it's really important to understand how this works. Why? Because if you want to change those outcomes, you have to change at the root of what creates that outcome. For example, how many times have you decided, weight is an easy one, right? The majority of people are thinking about how they want to lose weight. Whether you need to or not is a whole different story, but for a lot of people, they focus around that. So I get this idea that I need to lose weight, but I've tried starting on Monday and going to the gym. I've tried this diet and that diet. I've told myself 1,000,001 times that I'm not going to eat this food and not going to touch these sweets and all of those things. But meanwhile, I'm using the same process here, and I'm getting the same outcome. In other words, it doesn't matter what I say I'm going to do, I'm still doing what I don't want to do. Why? I'm glad you asked. Because your beliefs and your core values are at the root of the outcomes that you are experiencing in life. I'm going to do a teaching later on this, and I'll put it on a whiteboard so that it's really clear to see. But I'm going to do my best to explain it to you now. And so it goes like this. You start with your beliefs and your core values. And for some of us, we're not even really aware of what those are. We kind of just move about life and things happen the way they do, and we just happen to think that it has nothing to do with us. It's maybe just happenstance, or I have bad luck, or I don't know why these things keep happening to me. Well, there's a reason. And so you're left. Beliefs and values create thoughts that you have. And the thoughts that you have produce feelings. And your personal feelings that you have cause you to choose a behavior. Okay, they cause you to choose a particular behavior, to take a particular action, which then produces for you some outcome. Beliefs, values, thoughts, feelings, behaviors, outcome. That's how you get from one thing to the next. So by the time you realize you're inside of a habit again, this entire chain of events already happened. And your body is just following your mind. It's doing what it knows how to do because it's wired. And so you guys have heard neurons that are wired together, fire together, wired together. You guys have heard this. This is what's happening. So these grooves in your mind, these deep-seated grooves of thoughts and practices that we do over and over again is kind of like, imagine taking a shovel and scooping, and then over and over again, just in the same spot, you're going to get this really, really deep groove. And that's what happens here. And that's what we experience out here, is that our body, you guys have heard of muscle memory? I remember being a young athlete and hearing a lot about muscle memory, that you do something over and over again. And so for me, let's say it was basketball, you'd shoot a ball over and over and over again, the same thing, so that every time I caught the ball, no matter where I was at, I could go right up into the same position every time, because my muscles, my body essentially knew how to do it. Well, we're doing the same thing in life. And so a couple of things. One, it might come as a relief to you that that's why that's happening, is because of a very core belief system or some values that you are holding. And the good part is you can change that. Thank goodness. Thank goodness we're not stuck. And we are not machines, however mechanical we might become in our lives. The good news is we have these really powerful thinkers here. And that's just on a mental, emotional level, including the depth of ability that we have in our own lives as a result of our spiritual connection too, which is so powerful. So, but I wanted to work with you today, or to help you to understand this process. And so when we do our meditation today, what I want you to do is we're going to start with an outcome. So we're going to actually go backwards. So we're going to start with your outcome, and we're going to climb all the way back in our work today. And so what I want you to do for our meditation today, and by the way, you can do this outside of a meditation. You can actually use this same process or technique, whatever feels good to call it for you. And you can take a peek at anything in your life. And usually, like I said, it's an outcome that we don't like. Or maybe it's a behavior even. Somewhere on the chain, you're like, I keep doing this something. That's a behavior. And it's giving you an outcome, but it's a behavior. So identifying what each of these are. Outcome is the result that you get. That's whatever result you get. I keep going to the gym, and the result is I don't lose any weight. Going to the gym is a behavior. Well, so is a feeling that you had before, and maybe the feeling that you had before was, oh shit, I just ate 5 cookies, I need to go to the gym. Okay, well now we're getting somewhere. The feeling came with guilt. Okay, there's my feeling, right? And the thoughts that I had before was, I'm pathetic, or I'm whatever it is. We're gonna climb back into these, because we've got to get all the way to beliefs and values, which is how we operate our lives. But the way that we do that is, it's easy to choose, and we can do this for things that feel really good too, by the way. When you're doing things in your life and you get outcomes or results that you really love, you're using a strategy, and it's coming from somewhere in your belief system or your values. We can adjust so that we can use a better strategy for things that, or outcomes that we don't like as well. So in your meditation today, we're gonna choose one particular behavior or an outcome that you want to change in your life. And the only intention for today is, I'm not even asking you to change it or to have the answers, but the intention is I want you to draw back today to what maybe that belief is that exists. A really quick, for example, for me, it took me a while to recognize that sometimes outcomes I was having that I didn't like were really stemming from, and again, this is a big jump, but I'll walk you there. My lack of belief in myself, this perfectionistic sense, right, which is not even real because nobody's perfect, but this incessant need to do everything perfectly. And the reality is, if that is a belief that you have, like I have to do it perfectly, you will fail every single time. Every time. And how is somebody who feels like a failure constantly supposed to achieve anything? You won't. You'll spend a large part of your life not achieving what you know you're capable of, all because what you're aiming for is impossible. If I said I want to jump with my bare feet and no additional apparatus to touch the stars, A, that's completely unrealistic, and B, I can spend my whole life doing it and feel like a loser because I set myself up for failure. Let's not do that. Let's set ourselves up for success. Let's be specific about the things that we want to achieve and then pay attention to how we're going to get there. Pay attention to the strategy or the process with which we use. Understand that your body is doing what your mind tells it to. And so we need to get down to the root of where that's coming from. So that's what today is about. We're going to take a deep dive for you personally with whatever it is for you to find out, where is that coming from, this outcome that I'm experiencing that I don't want, that I really want to change, and I want to identify where it's at. And y'all, even if you can identify where it's coming from, a belief system that you have, now you can begin to do some work. Now we can begin to really get our hands dirty, if you will. If you think of weeding and pulling weeds, get your hands down in there, get all the way at the base of that root, and get rid of those weeds. Let's plant some really powerful beliefs. Let's really redefine our values, the values with which we live by. Because the truth is, if we're having outcomes that we don't want, there's something awry in our beliefs or our values. And so if we want to change the outcome, it's not about changing somewhere in the middle, trying all of these different strategies. You will always align to your beliefs and values, which is why you've tried 1,000,001 ways to change a particular something and it doesn't work, because you didn't change the belief within yourself or the value. Make sense? So we're going to do that today. And so as always, oh, did you guys see? I don't know if you can see. I have this really cool shirt right here. It says Coach Bree on it. I have a really great team. My team made this. So it's pretty nifty. You're going to start seeing more of these. So as always, open-handed, open-hearted. Let today be about you focusing and you gaining this awareness and these insights. What we do with these is really important, but we certainly can't do anything if we're not aware. So let's begin with our breath, remembering that we're going to breathe diaphragmatically. We're going to expand in our belly, expand in our chest, and exhale, letting that all go. So let's breathe deeply in a full 6 seconds. The reason we do it for so long is we want to slow everything down and really fill the body with oxygen. Let's flood the body with oxygen and exhale long and slow. Taking the time to just connect with our breath. As we connect with our breath here, let us be filled with gratitude. Let us sit upon a bed of gratitude. Let us choose to do this in the space and on the frequency of gratitude. And if today is a little tough for you to find gratitude, then perhaps you can just be at least a little bit thankful that something within you made the decision today to be here for yourself in this moment. And maybe we can at least have a little gratitude for that. Breathing deeply in. Expand, expand, expand. We want to teach the body to expand. We want to give the mind permission to open up. We want the heart to open as well. As we breathe deeply in, long, full, we open up. Exhale, letting go. Just be here with your breath. breathing deeply in. Just appreciate this time, this moment, just connecting to your breath. If your mind begins to wander, bring it back to the attention of your breath. Counting even if you need to as you inhale, counting as you need to as you exhale. Just be here. The mind doesn't focus, the body doesn't focus on its own. We have to teach it. We have to teach ourselves how to be present. This practice of connecting to your breath, you can do anywhere at any time. So you can teach yourself to become very present, regardless of what stresses you might have. You can connect into your breath and just become present. Let's take one more final big deep breath in, breathing fully in, open, expand. And exhale, letting go. To understand the importance of the present is to know that most often our fears and our stresses exist in us being consumed by thoughts of our past or worrying about the future. And this is why truly learning to be present is a tool that, when used and practiced properly and often, can bring us right into the present moment without any stress or fear or worry. The body is designed to be able to be at peace and to create stress hormones only when we are under a great deal of duress. But how we decide we are under a great deal of duress comes from the way we operate. It is not automatic that our body stresses because of fear. That is not life-threatening. That is something we have taught it to do. Utilize your breath every day to practice just being present. As we open up at our crown chakra at the top of our head, we open to possibilities, we open to awareness and insights. We open to our own greatness, to becoming better than ourselves yesterday. And as we do our body scan today, really focus on what the body is teaching us about what needs tending to. Tuning into our head now, breathe deeply in, become aware of any strenuous activity in the head. Notice if your jaw is tight. Notice if you have tension in your temples. Breathe deeply in and let that go. Just be aware of what is here to learn today as we move down into the neck and the shoulders. Am I pulling my neck and my shoulders upright and back so as to exemplify a sense of confidence and personal belief in myself? Or am I constantly hunched over, carrying undesirable thoughts about myself or responsibilities of others? Just become aware. Resting the arms now at the side. Do I notice tension in my arms? Am I squeezing for fear of loss? Do I close myself off with my arms often? Do I open them to receive love for myself or love from others? to share love, to give love. As we move down the body into the chest, as I breathe deeply in and expand, do I notice that my chest and my heart welcome expansion and openness? Or is there some restrictive energy there? Just learning, just observing. As we move down the body to the midsection, to the belly and the low back, as I breathe in, what is my gut health communicating to me? What is my low back communicating? Am I sore? Do I have discomfort? What do I need to surrender to? What do I need to choose differently? What is my body communicating to me? Moving down into the hips, where our root chakra is. Am I uprooted? Am I ungrounded? Do I feel scattered and all over the place? Am I trying to control things in my life and as a result causing more chaos? Am I holding on to past pain, trauma? Can I become aware of what the story is that causes me to keep that? As we move down the body into the legs and the feet. Am I moving my body as best as I can? Am I carrying this responsibility of my life? With gratitude, or am I carrying resentment? Breathe deeply in, just attuning to listen, let the body be a teacher in this moment. As we breathe deeply in, to expand today, to learn today, let's invite in a sense of appreciation for where we are today. That would require we focus on something good for ourselves in life right now. What can I appreciate in my life about where I'm at today? Just one thing. Really fully appreciate that. So as we begin to dive in to discovering some maybe unwanted strategies and how we are winding up there, I want you to think of an outcome or a behavior that you want to change in your life. Do not try to solve it. Simply be inside of this process. Simply allow for awareness and insight to come. Be open. Is there an outcome? Is there a result in your life that you want to change? Go with what comes to you. It's there for a reason. Go with what comes to you. We're just focused on process today. Just appreciate what this process is going to do for you today. Maybe if you can't quite think of the outcome, maybe the behavior. What is it? What action do I keep choosing over and over again that is causing that? So now that I am aware of an outcome that I don't want, and maybe even be aware to the level of, does resistance come up in thinking about this or processing this? Is there some level of resistance to changing it? This is a part of what I want to discover and become aware of. Is there a deep and desperate sense within me to change it? Am I so hungry to create change? Be aware of what came up for you and what you will learn through processing today. Without judgment, just allow awareness and insight to come. With no judgment. Do not jump ahead, just be here. So as we become aware of an outcome in our lives that we no longer want, and we are aware of the behavior that we are choosing that is giving us this outcome, back up one step further. Before choosing that behavior, ask for what the feeling is. Maybe it comes to you right away. Maybe you know exactly what the feeling is, or maybe this is such an unconscious practice for you that you're not really in tune with the emotion that happens before. Go back to the moment that you chose the behavior you did and identify, what is the feeling? What was I feeling? Was I feeling upset, frustrated, angry? Was I feeling rejected? Was I feeling lonely? Was I feeling afraid? Did I have some feeling of not having control? Was I feeling guilt or shame? Was I feeling hurt? No judgment, just be inside of the process to learn. What is the feeling that came up that caused me to choose the behavior that gave me an outcome I did not want? Are there any secondary feelings? What are all of the feelings associated or involved? And as I become aware of those feelings, what is the thought before the feeling? Did I hear someone say something? Did I observe someone do something? And I had a thought about what that meant about myself. Did I have a thought about my incapability? Did I have a thought about my worth or my lack thereof? Did I have a thought that was a judgment? Was I being very critical of myself and therefore feeling like a failure or shameful or guilty? What was the thought that caused a feeling? What was the thought that happened before? Was I thinking something about an experience happening outside of myself? Or did I think about something happening within me? What are the thoughts that came up that caused the feelings that caused me to choose a behavior that gave me an outcome I didn't want? What were the thoughts? Just become aware. Inside of process, ask, invite, ask the questions. What are the thoughts? If the answer is, I don't know, I know you don't know, but ask your unconscious mind. Ask your unconscious mind what those thoughts are. And of those thoughts that you are now aware of, that cause feelings within you, those feelings drove you to a behavior that gave you an outcome you didn't want. Beneath those thoughts, ask your unconscious mind, ask your heart to reveal, what is it that I must believe about myself in order for that thought to appear true? Ask for the definite statement. I am a failure. I can't do it. I'm not enough. Nobody sees me anyway. Nobody listens. I'm not good enough to share. My words don't matter. I'm unlovable. What is the belief deep down? Ask your unconscious mind. What is the belief all the way at the root? What comes up for you? Now, as you are unearthing this belief about yourself, as you are discovering a loop or a pattern, very powerful belief that is firing off thoughts that cause behaviors, thoughts that cause feelings, that cause behaviors, that cause outcomes, as you are identifying these beliefs about yourself, as you become aware, I want you now to recognize the lie that belief about yourself is. Most inside of this discover an I am statement, an all-encompassing statement that is associated to our whole self and not to one experience. There is a difference between I failed at something and I am a failure. One is associated to an experience. The other is how I associate to my whole self. What is this all-encompassing belief that exists? It's so big that has you aligning your thoughts, feelings, behaviors with making that statement true. Now that you are aware, tell yourself the truth. What is the truth? The truth is I am enough. The truth is I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes, but I am enough. The truth is I'm going to fail sometimes, and I can get up and keep going because I'm capable. Because I'm not a failure. I may have failed at something. The truth is, I do love myself. There are just some things I would like to change. The truth is I am lovable, and maybe somebody else has some baggage and they're struggling to show up in a way that feels good to me. The truth is I can wrap myself up in tough times, and I don't have to have somebody else to do it to know that I have value. The truth is I am smart, and maybe I had a tough time in certain environments or circumstances. The truth is, I do have gifts worth sharing. And maybe I've settled for things in my life. They're not what I truly want because of this lack of belief. And now that I understand that I am capable and worthy and valuable, that I am enough, that I am lovable, that I am loved, that there are people who love me. There are people who reflect goodness. There are people who listen and who care, who value what I have to say, who care about my light. I do shine a light in many ways in life. Let's loosen the intensity of the untrue belief. Tell yourself the truth. The truth that as you discover it will allow you to be more aware and give you cause for choosing a different path. The truth that becomes like a filter from which you can trace back a feeling before you choose what to do with it. To tell yourself the truth. That inside of this process, as you become aware of a feeling, before you choose what to do with it, you can trace it back and tell yourself the truth. What is the truth? That in telling myself the truth, I then have a different thought, which produces a healthier feeling or a resolution to a challenging feeling, and therefore I can choose something different to create a little bit of a better outcome. Breathe deeply in. Fill up your body. Fill it up with air, with oxygen. Open up your heart. Exhale, letting go. Breathe deeply in. Open, open, open. Expand, exhale, and let go. Breathe deeply into the powerful, powerful insights that have arrived in your heart today. And exhale, letting go of any stress or judgment that may want to come in as a result of this awareness. We're just appreciating our process and our insights today. Breathe deeply in with gratitude for these insights and this awareness. Let's leave out the judgment, leave out the criticism. Let's just be here. Exhale, let it all go. One more big, deep breath in with gratitude, breathing deeply, deeply, deeply in, choosing gratitude for this moment and for these incredible insights that teach us about how we can create positive shift in our life. Exhale and let go. How are you feeling now, my friends? Hopefully really well. I feel really good. Did you feel a bit like it was a journey? It kind of felt like it was a journey, just backtracking, really searching, almost like going on a hunt through a jungle of just really diving deep in, searching, where is this coming from? Kathy says, this is amazing, Bree. Good, I'm so glad. It's intended to be that, you know. But the cool part is that it's only amazing because you decided to do something about it. I will have you know that I am no more powerful, greater, or more anything than any of you. The only difference for all of us in whether or not we're manifesting the kind of lives we want is this right here. Do I take the time? Do I invest the time? Because the truth is, we cannot go blindly through life and expect that somehow, without any attention or effort, our lives are going to become something wonderful and beautiful that we love and that is great. It doesn't work like that. But this is why we do this. This is why we take the time. This is why I say over and over again, tell everyone. Secondarily, it's because I would love to be able to share what I share with people, but primarily it is because our world, and maybe this is selfish too, the world that I live in is so much better when we're all doing this together. I get to connect with incredible people, people who choose to do this, people who sit, who take the time to pour into themselves. And no judgment on yourself. But remember, what you put into something, you will get out of it, and that's what it means. Grow to being deeply invested in yourself. Maybe in the beginning you just listened. Maybe you just sit and you listen, and maybe meditation's not your thing. Cool. No judgment. That's a start. You can do better. And then when you sit and you're fidgety and you're moving around, no judgment. That's a good, you're sitting. You are doing it. You can do better. And when we can sit still and process through and dive so deep and tune everything out, beautiful. I love it. And we can do better. We can get to the point where we really are writing the movie that we are in the way that we want it. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that. It would be exhaustive and a waste of my time. But I believe deeply in our ability. I also believe we have the ability to be losers in life. Yes, that sounds harsh and tough, I get it, but we are capable of that too. That's a fact. If we do nothing, that's about what we will become. Nothing of value to ourselves and to our greater community and to this world. I feel a deep sense of responsibility primarily for myself in this gift that I've been given, in this vessel, in this life, and as a result of a level of awareness, I feel a responsibility to you, to be here and to show up and to do my best. I'm not perfect, nor will I ever be. I have a lot to work on, a lot. That's why I find myself here. That's why I choose to be here, and I hope you do too. Katie, you are taking the words out of my mouth. It was such a journey, another amazing meditation. Wow. Yes. Amen, sister. And that's what they become all the time. That's what's starting to happen. The more you do this, the deeper you go. The deeper you go, you've heard me say this before. Once you know, you can't unknow. And so sometimes people will say, now that I've started doing the work, shit's getting hard. Well, yeah, because everything inside of you is awake. And you can't ignore it anymore. You're not blindfolded walking around like a zombie. You're not sheep anymore. It doesn't get easy at first. At first, waking everything inside of us up is a challenge. But it's worth it because it does get better. But we have to keep doing it. And this is where a lot of people bail out. Because we expect, oh, I'm just going to start doing this and everything's going to work out. Probably not if you've written a whole bunch of shit into your movie. Might take you a minute to get rid of some of it and to change some of it. Okay. But this is why I talk about your why being so big and so important that it is so worth it for you to go through the challenge and the struggle. Because you want the best freaking movie ever. And I think we can have that. One human being at a time. So thank you. Gina says, feeling relaxed. Good. Perfect. Going into our day relaxed, centered, and grounded, we will much more likely make decisions that are better for us. But now you understand how those decisions are made. Once you know, you can't unknow. Sorry, not sorry. Now you know. So now, when you have an outcome in your life that's unwanted, and you become aware of it, you can begin to travel back and identify where is this coming from and what do I need to change deep within me. So I'm so grateful for you all being here. I love you all so deeply, truly. And I hope that you step in today with these beautiful insights. Do not ruin your beautiful insights with judgment. Don't do it. Sit with them. It's a journey. So I'm glad we're here doing it together. As always, today and every day. And most importantly, know your worth.